Alright, so I got my winch bumper on a couple weeks ago, and then went and did some wheeling, so I didn't have time to finish up this last piece. When you get the winch bumper, that's again, this is from D.TillFabworks. You have the option of ordering the heavy-duty radiator support / skid plate, and so this is that piece, and that goes underneath where the regular radiator support is. So it replaces this bar right here. So this has to be cut out, and then it bolts on actually in the same place there as the bumper bolts on, and it replaces that cross member and comes up and protects your radiator on the front from running into any rocks or anything. So like I said, I didn't get a chance to put that on because I wanted to go wheeling, so I did that. But now it's time to get this thing put on there. I've got it tacked together, but I didn't finish up the welding yet because I want to make sure I got my spacing right so that it lines up. So I got to cut that other cross member out and test fit this, and then if it fits, I'll weld it up completely and get it painted and get it put on. Alright, so it looks like it's gonna fit. I think I got it lined up pretty good, but in order to make sure, now I need to take these bolts out, which are the ones that hold there's 4 bolts on each side of the bumper. There's 2 on the bottom of the frame and 2 on the inside, and so I need to take the 2 on the bottom out because those are the same bolts that hold this up. So I need to take those out so that I can get to make sure and thread them back in and make sure it lines up properly. And then to do that, I need to get in here, so I'm gonna have to take the grill off, and not sure what else. We'll see. I might have to take the header off, the header panel, but I don't know, maybe I'll be able to get to it without that, so we'll find out. Alright, so I got the radiator support test fit on here. Looks like it's going to line up just fine. I got the bolts in enough of the way for each of the sides that I think it'll be just fine. If not, and if I have to, I can always widen the bolt holes just slightly, but I don't think I'll need to do that. I think it'll be just fine. It's kind of interesting and not super easy to get to these bolts. You can see I'm sticking through there, because they're hidden back in the frame rails, and so you have to kind of reach your hand in, there we go, through this little hole right here and into the frame rails. You can see the one nut up on the front there. There's a plate in there a sandwich plate that comes with the bumper as well, that has that you bolt into. And so the front bolt nut, you can kind of see there that I welded that onto the sandwich plate, but I did not weld the back one on, because when I was putting this in, there was just a lot of fiddling with it to get it to fit right, and I was worried if I welded it in, it was going to make it even harder on me to get it lined up. But having that front one in definitely helps. And I mean, that was a pain enough just to get it lined up, because when you put this thing on, you're holding the bumper up and trying to get this plate level and get this bolt in straight and so forth. And so there's just enough room, like right in this section right here, to fit your hand in, and you can fit a wrench, like a box end wrench, right in there. And that's how I tighten that back bolt. So it's not terrible once you get the hang of it, but I think it'll work out. Like I said, I got everything's lined up. So now I'm gonna take this thing back off and weld it up for good, and then throw some paint on it. Alright, so there we go. Welded up the support. Not the prettiest, but I'm sure it'll hold just fine. It's still hot, so yeah, I'm not going to grab it. But it'll do. That one's especially ugly because there was a pretty big gap there I had to fill. But whatever, it'll work. Cover it up with some paint and won't even notice. So before I went and painted, I just decided to clean up everything with a wire wheel just to get any weld spatter off of it and just to clean the surface up a little bit. And then I used some mineral spirits, just rubbed it on the metal to make sure it was clean of any oils or anything else. And then it was time to paint. So I'm using the same thing I used on the front bumper, which is a Rust-Oleum bed liner. You get it in a quart can, and then I'm just using a brush to apply it. Put a few coats on it, leaves a nice textured finish. Alright, so there we go. I got the all welded up, first coat of paint on it. This actually isn't paint I'm using a Rust-Oleum bed liner. You can see that it needs more coats, but anyway, this Rust-Oleum bed liner, you buy it in like a quart can and just brush it on. Same stuff I used on the bumper. I like how it works because it's kind of a textured coating, so you don't have to get it perfect, and it's really good for stuff like this, or the bumper that's going to get scraped up, because if you get a scrape in it, like smashing on rocks or something, all you got to do is just kind of clean that up and then just put more on top of it, and you know, it's not like paint where you're going to notice the difference because it's already got the texture there. Anyway, so first coat, I did like 3 or 4 coats on the bumper, just kind of keep going until you can't see the metal through it. Like I said, there you can see it's a little thin, and so the next time, the brush marks are this way, so the next time I'll go across the other way, and it starts getting a really nice cool textured finish as it dries. So yeah, So I'm gonna let that dry, and that's all I'm doing tonight. So the next day I put a few more coats on it till I got it looking how I wanted, and then I went and installed it on the Jeep, bolted it all up, and this is how it looks when it's finished.